He has a telecommunications background that started with Global Wireless Connections Inc., a local startup content provider specializing in mobile marketing solutions. He was part of the company's pioneering team and later on became a member of the management committee and was given the responsibility to lead the overall sales and marketing efforts for Philippines and Indonesia. This was further strengthened in Globe Telecom when he handled the role of regional and channel head for its mobile commerce group. Let's welcome on stage Mr. Raymond Cayabyab.
Hello guys, good afternoon. All right, okay, sige. Wow, that's a very formal picture. Yeah, so I'm here to talk about mobile marketing. So basically, what you will see in the next few slides are the trends when it comes to mobile, some case studies that we handpicked for you, and some information that might help you moving forward. All right, but before that, let me just give you a brief background of who Mobex is. Next slide, please. We are part of a bigger group called Havas Media. It's a French-based company. It's publicly listed in France. And Mobex is the mobile-first digital agency of Havas. Next slide. We are present in 35 countries. So we are a global company. In the Philippines, we are in Asia Pacific, Philippines is the head office. So karamihan ng mga tech companies or mga malalaking companies, when they have regional operations, normally the head office is in Singapore or in Hong Kong. But for Mobex, the head office is here in Manila because this network believes that mobile, in terms of mobile maturity, mas prepared ang Philippines when it comes to mobile marketing. All right? Next slide. Okay. So these are the pillars of Mobex. We do strategy, we do creatives, we do technology, and of course media. So a lot of our clients, which you will see later on, these are the things that we do for them. So from the big idea generation up to the media execution, we handle that for our clients. And you will see in the next slide that Mobex work with different clients, no? At least here in the Philippines, so from different industries. Makikita nyo from quick service restaurant to telco, to banking, and even some NGOs also, we work with them. All right? Okay, next slide. So this is why I'm here. Why mobile marketing? Okay? But before I go to the next slides, if I can ask, can everyone please stand up? Please stand up first. I will just do a very, very quick exercise. Please stand up. All right? Okay, sige. Sa lahat ng merong Android device, kahit anong Android device, or iOS, iPhone device, you may take your seats. Okay, so that's more than 50%. Dun sa mga natitira, if you have a cell phone, any cell phone, you can take your seat. Okay? So that's how important mobile is. That's how big mobile is. Everyone in this room has a mobile device. Regardless if it's an Android phone, an iOS, or a legacy phone. A 3210, a 5110. Okay? We call it legacy phones. Kasi legacy na talaga yung telepono. Alright? So that's how important mobile is. Next slide, please. I usually start my presentation during our client pitches. So whenever we're invited for a pitch or a presentation to a client, I normally start with this slide. Okay? So this picture, okay, the individuals that you're seeing in the picture, mga in-laws ko sila. Okay, so we had dinner a couple of weeks ago, and then the moment we sat down, that's the first thing that they did. They did not ask for the what they call this, the menu. What they did was they sat down, they asked for, any guess? Wi-Fi. They asked for Wi-Fi connectivity. That's how connected, hyper-connected we are. So this paints you a hyper-connected world, no? From the baby boomers yung medyo nasa taas na ng age bracket. And then the millennials, which is you guys, no? Everyone here are millennials. Next slide. In the Philippines, mobile is really big. As a matter of fact, in the Philippines, we are a mobile first country, as you will see in these numbers. So in terms of population, we have more than 100 million population nationwide. In terms of mobile connectivity or mobile penetration, we are more than 100%. Why is that? Any guess? Why is that? Any guess? 2 cell phones, 1 individual. Okay? Ang isang tao, minsan may 2 or minsan may 3 cellphone. Alright? So that's the reason why in terms of penetration, mataas ang penetration ng mobile device here in the Philippines. In terms of smartphone penetration, kanina almost 100% na nandito umupo when I ask if they have an iOS or an Android device. Nationwide, there are about 40 million smartphone devices nationwide. And these devices have the capability to connect to the internet and do social activities. In terms of growth of smartphone penetration this year, it's going to be 3 times versus last year because of cheaper phones, my phones, Cherry Mobile, etc., etc. So that will increase smartphone penetration this year. And in terms of Facebook users in the country, there are about 36 to 37 million Facebook users in the Philippines. 70% of them would access their social accounts from their mobile device. All right? Next slide. Specifically in the NGO segment or industry, these are the numbers that you're looking at. Oops, sorry, that will be the next slide. But mobile is very important because it enables you to do all of these. No? So one-to-one communication, it's very interactive. It is present all throughout the consumer journey process, which I will explain later on. And in the NGO industry, next slide please. These are the numbers, or these are the results, no, when you use mobile, right? So in terms of donations, in terms of visits, in terms of video views, mobile is always there. And it's very, very important that you have a mobile component in all of your projects. Next slide. Before, when you talk digital, normally, the consumer journey process is very linear. So, dire-diretso lang siya. But nowadays, when you take a look at the digital behavior of a person, especially millennials, or when I say millennials, the age is about 20 to 35 years old. So if you're within that age bracket, you are a millennial. Okay? So normally, millennials, when they surf the net, or when they consume media, this is how they consume it. So, ano siya, paiba-iba. It can start from TV, it can start from radio, it can start from print, or it may even start from digital. Okay? And the beauty about mobile is that mobile can be integrated in all of these touch points, as you will see later on. Alright? Next slide. So what I will do, okay, is I will share with you 7 key mobile tools that you can use for your projects. And I will enumerate them. Invest in mobile ads, mobilize traditional media, use mobile social platforms, dominate search, mobilize your digital properties, establish multi-channel presence, and create sticky apps. Okay, so each tool, I will share with you case studies or some examples. Okay, next slide. So first, invest in mobile ads. Next slide please. This slide will show you the digital media consumption in Asia Pacific and in the Philippines. Okay, as you can see, this portion, this is Asia Pacific. The numbers that you are seeing here are minutes. Okay, minutes. Meaning, ito yung number of minutes that an individual spends on TV, laptop, smartphone, and tablet. In Asia Pacific, 159 minutes are spent on smartphone devices in Asia Pacific. But in the Philippines, 174 minutes are spent on mobile. So that's huge. It's even higher than TV consumption, okay, which is just 99 minutes. So sometimes when you want to watch a movie or a TV, normally, ang kinukuha yung smartphone device. That's where you view all of these videos. Next slide. So this is an example of a campaign of UNICEF. This is the challenge. They wanted to raise awareness about the benefits of breastfeeding. Okay, so we all know that breastfeeding is important, especially for newborn. Kasi doon talaga sila lumalakas, no? Specifically in Indonesia. So that was the challenge. The solution that they made was, next slide, was they created mobile display ads. Okay, so sometimes when you use your mobile devices and when you go to different websites, you see their banner ads, correct? May mga nakikita kayo ng mga banner ads either on top or in the middle or in the bottom. Okay? So they made mobile display ads. Next slide. So this is an example of what they did. So you visit different mobile sites, and when you click on that, it goes to this page. Actually, this picture that you're seeing is not a website. Okay, so normally, di ba, when you click on an ad, it goes to a website. Normally. But this one, when you click on that one, it expands to this. So it is a rich media ad unit. So mobile display ads can actually become a microsite or a campaign site for you. So what they did was they placed their names, email, and phone number as a means to collect data from the customers who were hit by the display ad. Okay? And as a result, they were able to hit these numbers. So click-through rate of 0.31%, which is higher than your desktop numbers. Normally sa desktop, it's about 0.15% in terms of click-through rate. Okay? When I say click-through rate, individuals who clicked on an ad. That's a meaning of a click-through rate. And in terms of conversion rate, they were able to convert individuals, 6% of the individuals who engage the brand or who engage the ads. Okay? So that's high. That's very high. Next. This video that I am going to show, this got multiple awards. No? It's an SMS campaign done in Czech Republic, in Prague. The objective was to create an awareness for a certain bakery shop. Okay? And they used mobile to do that. So, play video, please. Oops.
Ma chambre a la forme d'une cage. Le soleil passe son bras par la fenêtre. Les chasseurs à ma porte comme les petits soldats qui veulent me prendre. Je ne veux pas travailler
This showcase that we're shooting today with Outdoor Media here in Prague proves the power of location-based services in mobile advertising. By capturing people, sending them the right message at the right time, exactly when it's appropriate, the power that we give to advertisers is actually unique. Today, we're actually showing here in Paul Bakery in Andel, in Prague, that it's working. Look at this lady here. Can I see your message? She got this message while she was within a 1 kilometer radius of this area, and she came, and in a few minutes she will get a free croissant and a free coffee from Paul Baker here in Andel. So this exactly shows that if you have the right customer at the right place, at the right time, and you give them the right message, everyone wins.
Okay, next slide. So that gives you an idea how effective mobile is. For as long as you deliver the right message to the right person, right time, and right place. And you can do all of those things using mobile. All right? So that's what they did for Paul Bakery in Prague. The next slide is, the next examples would be mobilized traditional media. Okay, next. So this is a campaign in New York, all right? So basically what they did was, so they had different traditional media executions. So they had newspaper and most especially out of home. Out of home would be your billboards or yung mga tarps, okay? What they did, at least for this museum in New York, was they included here an SMS call to action keyword, okay? So text MoMA 4 to this number. And then when you text that number, you get certain benefits, no, from the Museum of New York. So that's very easy. Notice, you just have to include an SMS call to action keyword in all of your materials, and that's it. You have a mobile marketing campaign. Okay, next slide. This is a concrete example here in the Philippines, no, which is being done by one of the largest universal bank here in the Philippines, BDO. They have different products and services, one of which would be their loan services, all right? Notice here, in all of their materials, so this is a magazine ad. This is a billboard. Notice that they added this copy. Text BDO loans to 2256. Okay? So, newspaper, print ad, magazine, and even out of home. So, what's the benefit of including it here? The benefit is, if I am interested or if I am looking for a loan at that very moment and I see this, all I have to do is just text this keyword to a certain number, and then my number will be forwarded to BDO. And then BDO will call me. So for the customer, it's easier. It's an easy access to BDO. For BDO naman, it's an easy way to get leads. Okay? Next. This video, I like this video, the way they incorporated mobile in their campaign. The campaign was executed in Africa for an NGO. The name of the campaign is Pennies for Life. All right? So please watch the video.
The Microloan Foundation is a charity that lends money to some of the poorest women in Africa
to help them to set up their own small businesses. Our campaign is called Pennies for Life, and this year we staged a unique live event. We created unfinished portraits of African women, made entirely of pennies, and put them on a digital poster site. Then we invited people to complete the pictures by texting a donation to the poster. As soon as the message arrived, the donor got a personal thank you. Then their money dropped into place on the screen. The more texts we got, the faster the picture built, until we had enough money to make one business loan to one woman in Africa. Then we built another one, and another one. Each donor also got a credit on our microsite, where all the portraits were displayed. It was a live, interactive demonstration of small change creating big change for women in Africa. And from one poster in one shopping centre in its first weekend, 21 women who had nothing now have their own small businesses.
Nice, right? Very nice execution. So, just by including a very simple mobile technology, SMS, that execution was just SMS. And they were able to make the engagement really nice. Right? Next. Number 3, use of mobile social platforms. Okay? Next slide. This is a study made by Nielsen. So basically, they asked different individuals. Okay? The question that they asked was, who would you trust the most? Or what channel would you trust the most? Is it word of mouth, websites, TV ads, or print ads? The individuals said that they would trust word of mouth as a means of marketing brands or services. And if you think about it, next slide please, if you think about it, word of mouth is social, correct? If there's something that you see in social and your friends or a person that you know endorses that or forwards that content, normally as a person, you would trust the person that you know. So that's social. Word of mouth is social. And social nowadays is mobile. Why is that? In terms of Facebook users globally, okay, almost 70% or 60 to 70% of their monthly active users access their accounts using their mobile devices. Twitter, 75% monthly active users coming from mobile. Pinterest, three-fourths or 75% of all usage comes from mobile. And Instagram, okay, I assume most of the individuals here would have an Instagram account. Instagram is just a mobile channel. You cannot access it anywhere else. It's just mobile, right? Next slide. In Asia Pacific, the use of mobile, okay, for social activities is very high, okay? So this is Asia Pacific. And if you take a look at Facebook, next slide please, out of the 28 here in the Philippines, out of 37, 28 million individuals would access their accounts from their mobile device on a monthly basis. On a daily basis, there are 18 million individuals who access their account on a daily basis, and 13 million of them would access their accounts from a mobile device. So that's about 70%. So it's very high here in the Philippines. Next slide. Okay, this video, this case study, I like this because it's the way they use the social platforms in this technology was really phenomenal. Okay, so please watch the video.
Most people have little compassion for the homeless and see them as an annoyance or inconvenience. People experiencing homelessness aren't seen as humans or even treated as human beings. Raising the Roof launched Humans for Humans, a campaign to break the myths, give the homeless a voice, and present a human side to homelessness. To launch, we borrowed from the social phenomenon where people read mean tweets about themselves.
hate the homeless. I don't feel sorry for you. If you want change, let me throw it at you as hard as I can at your dirty face.
I hate when it gets cold out, because then all the homeless people get on the bus.
I wonder if homeless people go to heaven.
Never understand why homeless people smell of piss when you can literally piss anywhere.
I was enjoying a latte when I saw a hobo girl across the street. I almost vomited. Get back on your side of the bridge, no one likes you.
If homeless where the heart is, then are homeless people heartless?
Wow.
How can you say that?
The online film, along with Out of Home, TV, digital, pre-roll, and a Twitter campaign directed at politicians and influential figures exposed the inhumane comments and drove people to humansforhumans.ca, where we gave the homeless a voice. We gave the homeless a chance to respond directly to the mean tweets.
If home is where the heart is, then why are homeless people heartless? Someone who's homeless goes on a bus, and immediately people move away from them. That's pretty damn heartless.
And answer people's questions about homelessness.
I was drinking before I was born because my mom was an alcoholic.
My father started abusing me when I was about 7 years old. It went on for about 4 years. He was a bad, belligerent alcoholic. He would beat us.
Over 50 videos help tell the stories of the homeless and humanize their struggles. We help connect people and the homeless by putting human stories behind the issue of homelessness. The campaign brought media attention to the issue. In the first month, we saw a 415% increase in donations.
Every time I see this video, it gives me goosebumps. No? Kasi that's the way you use social. Nowadays, social, when they use social, minsan mudslinging ang ginagawa in their social accounts. But you can actually use social to transform lives. And this is what this campaign did, no, for homeless individuals. All right, so that's one example. Next slide. Okay, 10 years ago, we were the SMS capital of the world. Correct? Correct. But now, Philippines, especially in Makati, I don't know why, what's in Makati? Makati is now the selfie capital of the world. Okay? I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Medyo nandun ako sa bad thing. Alright, but the reason why I'm showing this is because it's social, right? So, selfie, the word selfie, it's a social thing. And there's one campaign made by BBDO, it's called Unselfie. Okay? Hashtag unselfie. It's a campaign made by BBDO for Typhoon Haiyan. Okay? Next video, next slide please. So this is the video, please watch it.
Selfies, or self-taken pictures, peaked as the foremost social phenomenon in 2013. It was Oxford Dictionary's word of the year. In the same year, Typhoon Haiyan struck the Philippines.
Super Typhoon Haiyan has made a direct hit on the island.
The typhoon slammed into the Philippines at 4:30 a.m. Friday morning with winds of 195 miles per hour and gusts of 235 miles an hour. That's higher than the winds from Hurricane Sandy and Katrina combined.
The devastation was unlike anything the world has seen. People from all over wanted to help. The problem was, they didn't know how. During this time, Filipinos were discouraged from making irrelevant posts on social media, selfies included. But we thought, what if the self-indulgent act of the moment could be transformed into a vehicle for good? We got people to post a picture of themselves as they would in a selfie, but with their face covered by a paper showing a donation URL. Within days after its launch, this simple act became a new online phenomenon, influencing leaders such as U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry. Global news outlets like CNN, BBC, NPR, Huffington Post, and Radio Television Suisse feature the unselfie as thousands participated.
La campagne Un Selfie, incitant à donner en faveur des victimes du typhon aux Philippines.
Mashable.com called it the next big thing. Vanity magazines also took part. Preview magazine got a famous actress to do an unselfie for its cover.
It doesn't matter if my face was seen or not because you know that you're standing up for something.
But more important than the birth of a new social mechanism is the fact unselfie proved effective, prompting people to donate. So we created an unselfie button in unselfie.me to make it easy for people to make their own and encourage everyone to give. Turning taking selfies into an act of giving.
All right. Okay. So that's mobile social. Next slide. So what I presented was the use of Twitter, your staple mobile social platforms, Twitter and Facebook. But there are other mobile social platforms that are now emerging, and these are the applications that are now being considered as emerging mobile social platforms. Okay? How many of you would have a KakaoTalk in their phone? Can you raise your hand? KakaoTalk. Okay, so there are users of KakaoTalk. What about WeChat? Anyone of you has a WeChat? Okay. Line. Anyone? Line? This one, WhatsApp. WhatsApp. So almost everyone. There are individuals here, lahat ng applications, they have it in their phone. Okay? So these are emerging mobile social platforms that you can use, okay, in your marketing projects. Next slide. If you total that, here in the Philippines, there are about 37 million users of KakaoTalk, WeChat, Line, Viber, WeChat. So there are about 37 million users, which is now equivalent to Facebook users in the Philippines. So it's now parity, pareho na lang. So this is an important channel that you can use. Next slide. This is a campaign of WWF. Okay, so what they wanted to achieve from this campaign was to increase awareness. Awareness about endangered species. Okay. And what they did, the solution that they made was, next slide. Next slide, please. Do you know Snapchat? Are you familiar with Snapchat? Okay, Snapchat is a mobile app that allows you to send a content to a person and it automatically destructs in X number of seconds. That's how Snapchat works. And WWF used Snapchat. Okay, so they develop different content. So the tiger content, that tiger, gorilla, and panda. So if you see these images in Snapchat, mawawala yan in X number of seconds, which is somehow similar to the endangered species. If we don't take care of our environment, mawawala din sila. For all we know, mawawala sila in the blink of an eye. So that's how they tied up this campaign to Snapchat. Okay? And the results were, next slide. Within the first 8 hours, they were able to generate 5,000 tweets, which is being viewed on 6 million Twitter timelines. After just 1 week, they were able to generate 40,000 tweets and 120 million Twitter users, which is nearly 50% of the overall monthly total. Okay? So that was the impact. So again, go beyond Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. There are other social platforms, mobile social platforms that you can use. And these VoIPs or messenger applications are one of those. Right? Next. Search. Dominate search. Next slide. Globally, there's a study made. So globally, in terms of search volume, normally, when you go online, the first thing that you open is Google, correct? If you want to know a product or a service, or if you're researching, if you're doing your research, anything, no? When you go to Google, that's where you do all of your research. And globally, in terms of volume, search volume, mobile is now bigger than desktop. So total nyo lahat, mobile and desktop searches. If you take a look at that pie, mobile gets the bigger chunk of search volume globally. Okay, in the Philippines, about 50%. So it varies from different industries, but about 50% or 60% now comes from mobile. Next slide. Okay, next. Next. Okay, so when you do search on mobile, chances are the conversion rate is higher. Okay. Next slide. And there are different ad units that you can use for mobile. So normally, di ba, when you search on mobile, there are highlighted search results. And then there are buttons. Now, when you press it, you can call that establishment. So those are ad units that you can do, mobile ad units that you can do on Google. Okay. Next. So these are just some examples. Okay. So this ad unit, the one that you're seeing here, is a click-to-call ad unit. So if you want that person searching for a service or a product to call your establishment, you can use a click-to-call ad unit. If you want that user to go to a branch, your branch, you can do a location-based ad unit. Okay? And others. So those are the available ad units that you can do on search. Next slide. Number 5, invest in your mobile properties. Okay? This is a study of Nielsen here in the Philippines. They did this quarter 4 of 2012, and then they compared it to quarter 1 of 2014. So a year ago, they found out that the usage of desktop, laptop, and mobile, this is now parity. Okay, so look at, this is quarter 4 of 2014 for desktop. This is quarter 4, 2012. Quarter 4 2014. This is quarter 4 of 2014 for mobile. If you can see, it's now parity. It's now equal. So people use mobile to search. That's the main point. That's the bottom line. Next slide. Okay, next slide, please. And because of that, Google made an algorithm change. So they made a change in their system. Basically, the change was, if your phone is not mobile, if your site is not mobile friendly, chances are they will penalize you. How will you know if it's not a mobile friendly site? So di ba minsan when we visit websites, minsan we do that action, pinapalaki natin, we resize the website, it's because it's not mobile friendly. So if that site is not mobile friendly, chances are Google will penalize you in terms of your search ranking. Okay, next slide. Okay, so these are the official articles or statements from Google. Next slide. This is a this is a campaign that was made in a certain country, in a certain city in America. So they were launching a donation campaign. So what they did was they created a mobile-friendly site. So for individuals who would want to donate to this NGO, they can do that using their mobile devices. And when they go to that site, this is the field that you will see. It's very simple, very straightforward. So when they did that, the conversion rate went up. Next slide. So this is an example of Shakey's. This is a non-mobile friendly site. Next slide. This is how it looks like now. Okay? So that's the difference between a non-mobile site to a mobile-friendly site. Next slide. So normally when you optimize your site or you change your site to a mobile-friendly site, the conversion rate goes up. Okay, so for those who visit your website, normally it would increase if your site is mobile-friendly. Next slide. Establish multi-channel presence. Okay, so this is how media consumption looked like way before in the 60s. This next picture, this is how we consume media now. So it's fragmented. Okay, some of the family members would watch a TV, some would go to their mobile device, some would access their tablet. Okay, next slide. Next slide. So it is important that you should have a multi-channel presence, no? From TV, from smartphone, to tablet, and then to laptops. Ideally, your consumer, when they use any of these devices, dapat you should be there. You should be present. Next. Next. One of our clients, McDonald's, the challenge for McDonald's was that in terms of number of branches, Jollibee is way bigger as compared to McDonald's. The ratio was 2:1. One McDonald's branch to 2 Jollibee branches. So they had that challenge, no? And what's the solution that we had in mind? Okay? Next. The idea that we came up with is there a way to put a McDonald's store in every smartphone device? So that was the idea. I shared earlier that there are about 40 million smartphone devices in the Philippines. So would it be possible for us to put a McDonald's store in each of those smartphone devices? That was the idea. The solution was, we created mobile sites and mobile application for McDonald's. Okay. So if you are a McDonald's lover, you can download their mobile app in your phone, and you can download that and you can make an order straight from your mobile device. Right now, they have 50,000 active mobile app users in the Philippines, which is way bigger than the number of branches of Jollibee. So that's what McDonald's did. Okay? Next. The last one. Okay, the last one. Create sticky apps. Who amongst you love to eat Krispy Kreme? Krispy Kreme. Okay? So you love eating Krispy Kreme. This is an easy way for you to get access to Krispy Kreme. Okay? So please watch the video. Next slide. So that app is now existing, and the numbers that I'm sharing with you are the sales numbers and the coupon redemption numbers of Krispy Kreme. The reason why I coined it sticky is because there are loyalty components in the application. There are reward components in the application. So each time you use that app, you earn stamps, you earn coupons. So that's why it's a sticky app. The challenge now for organizations who would want to launch their own application is that when you launch it in App Store or Play Store, chances are you will be competing with millions and millions of applications, no, in the App Store market. So that's why you need to make your application stand out by putting in sticky features or functionalities. All right. So these are the sales numbers of Krispy Kreme, and they're getting a lot of success stories, no, from this application. They will roll it out in other markets. Okay. Next slide. So these are the numbers. Basically, the users of Krispy Kreme is very loyal to the brand. Right? Next. Okay, so that's about it. So in summary, again, I will bring you back to the 7 key mobile tools. Invest in mobile ads, mobilize traditional media, use mobile social platforms, dominate the search space. You have to mobilize your digital properties, establish multi-channel presences, and create sticky apps. All right? Before I end this, I want to give you 3 trivias on how big mobile is. Okay? Do you know the youngest billionaire, tech billionaire? Do you know the name of that person? Anyone? The youngest tech billionaire is Bobby Murphy. Bobby Murphy is the co-founder of Snapchat. The valuation of Snapchat is $16 billion. 26 years old. Do you know that the largest hotel chain globally doesn't own a single brick-and-mortar hotel? Okay, they don't own any real estate property. Do you know that company, what that company is? Any one of you? Airbnb? Airbnb. Airbnb is valued at $25 billion. Co-founders, less than 30 years old. Last, the largest transport service globally doesn't own a single car. What's the app? Uber. Uber is valued at $50 billion. 35 years old founder. Why am I saying this? Because everyone, each one of you, okay, we believe that the Filipinos can compete in the global space using technology. And we believe that the next big idea when it comes to mobile will come from the Philippines. So we challenge, every time there's a talk, we challenge the youth. Think of the next Uber. Think of the next Snapchat. Think of the next Facebook. We are very talented and we are very sure that the next big idea will come from the Philippines. That's it. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.